As a registered dietitian, one of the most frequent questions I get from clients or prospective clients is, how much weight could I lose if I gave up alcohol for a month? And so the answer to that question isn't exactly straightforward. There are lots of different factors to consider. But the first thing I want you to know, and the most important take home from this video, is there are a lot of great reasons to cut back on your alcohol consumption, independent of what happens to your body weight. So we know now that alcohol consumption, even moderate use, is linked with several different types of cancer. Drinking alcohol in large amounts is hard on your liver. So even if you gave up alcohol for a month, say you were doing sober October or something, and you didn't lose a single pound, that would still be a win for your health. So definitely something to keep in mind if you're considering cutting back. Now, for the question at hand, there's the mathematical answer, and then there's the actual answer to this question. Mathematically speaking, if you gave up alcohol, let's say you drank 2 glasses of wine a day every single day, and you changed nothing else about your routine. So you worked out still the same amount and at the same intensity. You got the same amount of sleep every night. Your stress level was pretty consistent. You were eating the same types of foods in the same amounts. You might expect to lose a few pounds over the course of a month. So not anything crazy, but definitely a few pounds or so. Now, the problem is a lot of people give up alcohol and then maybe they do like sober October or something. And they're like, I did not lose a single pound over the course of a month after not drinking. A lot of times this comes down to using alcohol as a coping or a buffering mechanism. So we drink alcohol not just because it gives us a buzz or because we like the taste, but a lot of people drink alcohol to cope with negative emotions like loneliness or boredom or stress. And so if you don't have a good way to deal with those emotions going into a month-long detox from alcohol, what tends to happen is a lot of people will replace alcohol with a different coping mechanism, usually food. And so when they're feeling bored, for example, they might go to the office candy jar. If they're feeling lonely at night, they might DoorDash something while watching Netflix. And so if you're thinking about giving up alcohol, one of the first things you would need to do is identify if I'm using alcohol to cope with any negative emotions. And if so, put a more productive coping mechanism into place. So for example, for boredom, you might take up something like needlepoint or crochet or go learn to play pickleball. If you're feeling lonely, you might try calling a friend instead, or going out and meeting up with a friend in a non-alcohol setting. If you're feeling stressed out, you might take up meditation or a walk in the afternoon or journaling. So until you address those core issues that are leading you to crave alcohol, you're probably going to replace it with some other activity, possibly food. And if you're doing that, especially if you're leaning toward the foods people tend to crave, you might end up eating more calories and therefore not losing any weight during sober October. So this is something I work with my clients a lot on. I actually love identifying the root emotional issues of why we eat and drink. So if you're having any trouble with this, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to help.